Welcome to Practice. I'm Nick Loffree. Today I'll be sharing with you a yoga core routine designed for swimmers to get your core nice and strong, nice and stable, connect that stability not just in your core but actually connect it out to the extremities, out to the feet, out to the hands, so that everything's moving in unison. We're going to be doing lots of cross-lateral patterns as well that help to connect your right hand and your left foot, right hand, and get this strength that we need for swimming and really all sports, but particularly swimming, to get this cross-lateral strength and stability and even some flexibility we'll work on today too. So we're actually going to start with the flexibility portion. So come onto your hands and knees in tabletop. Now, if you don't have a yoga mat, you'll actually be fine in this practice if you just have a towel or something to throw on the ground. All right, and we're going to start by just getting nice and open in our spine. So this is called the cat-cow exercise. So we drop the chest and lift the head looking up. And then we're going to lift the back, tuck the tailbone, and tuck the chin down. So we're thinking about getting the spine nice and open. So as we inhale here, we open the front of the spine. And as we exhale, we open the back of the spine. So just a few deep breaths like this. Nice and fluid and flexible in the spine. Nice and open in the back. Very good. And we're going to start to go left and right. So bring your spine to neutral. And start to make a big letter C with your spine, going left and right with it. So your tailbone and your crown of your head will point in the same direction, and your ribs will move away from the crown of the head and the tailbone. We call this the dog wags its tail. Let's try to go a little quicker. This one will do a little bit less as a stretch, a little bit more just mobility. So moving at a pretty steady pace, almost like a dog wagging its tail. Is opening the sides of the spine, opening up the vertebra, opening the waist, the sides of the neck. Your breath doesn't really have to link with this one. Good, and relax. Okay, send your hips back. We're going to find what we call child's pose. So feel your low back and your spine nice and long. Feel some traction with your hands as your hips sink back away from the hands. And we're going to move from this posture into what we call upward dog. So bring your hips forward. We're going to drop the hips down, curl your toes under, so the tops of your feet are on the floor. And we're going to lift our chest forward and up. We're going to pulse between these. So here, bending the knees, the hips go back. Feel some length and decompression in your low back. And then we're going to arch the low back here, sending the hips forward. Lifting up and forward with the chest. Now you can feel free to leave your knees on the ground here or activate your glutes. Have the knees slightly off the floor, just the hands and tops of the feet touch. Now let's go through a few times with breath. So exhale your hips back. And inhale, coming forward into upward dog. Exhale back, child's pose. Inhale forward, upward dog. One more time, exhale back. Inhale forward. And let's find our way onto our belly. We'll start to go into our strengthening exercises. So belly onto the floor. Now this one I like to call Superman's. We're going to extend our arms forward. And we're going to start by just holding, and then we're going to pulse. So the first one, holding, you're going to have both your palms flat on the floor, shoulder width apart ahead of you. You're going to lift your left hand and your right foot. Now activate your left glute or quad muscle to kind of lift the knee off the ground slightly, and just try to have the right palm and the left foot on the ground. So the rest of the arm and leg aren't really touching the floor. You take a couple deep breaths, really kind of reach forward and backwards with the left hand and right foot. And then lower down, and we switch. Your right hand and left leg lift. We hold them about as high as we can while also reaching them forwards and backwards away from each other. And again, here we're getting a little bit of that cross-lateral strength. You're strengthening particularly the lower back, but also the left glute, the right shoulder. Breathe into it. I'm going to lower down and switch, holding a little longer this time. Remember the hand and foot that are touching the ground, have them really active, kind of pressing down into the floor. You might feel your arm and your thigh maybe lift off the ground a little bit. Breathe into it. And it's building that stability, physical and mental strength. Two more breaths here. Lower down, other side. Again, holding a little bit longer this time. Deep breaths. Really stay active. Here, right hand, left foot pushing away from each other. Left hand, right foot pressing down into the floor, creating a sense of lift. Breathing deep. Do this work here on land, so in water, things are a little more effortless, a little more integrated. One more breath. Lower down. Just relax for a moment. Let your head come down to the floor. You can rest on the side, one side of your face. Nice deep breath. And we're going to go into both sides. So reach your hands out in front again. Lift both hands, both legs. We hold and breathe. And again, feel a sense of reaching the extremities away from each other. So the fingertips and the heels press away from each other. Breathe into it. Good. Head down. Relax. You might turn your head the other way this time. A couple deep breaths. Let your low back relax. Do one more time with a hold. So reach your hands out. Lift. Breathing deep. You can feel that length pulling away from each other, the feet and hands. Deep breaths. One more deep breath. Relax it down. Nice. Good job. Just one more in this prone position. We're going to do a little pulse, a little movement in this next one. Let's take a deep breath. Relax your back at first. Good. All right, let's do it. This one looks a little bit like swimming. We're going to lift one hand and opposite foot. So right hand, left foot, left hand, right foot. Right hand, left foot, left hand, right foot. Then try to pulse it without the hands or feet touching the ground. Pulse as though we're swimming. Breathing deep. Again, getting that cross-lateral strength. Strengthening shoulders, glutes, low back, mid back. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. A couple deep breaths. Let's do one more round like that in a moment here, but relax your back for now. All right, almost there. Last one in this position. Hands forward, lift up. Alternate foot and hand Breathe with it. Say 3 deep breaths here. One more breath. And relax. Good. All right, let's push ourselves up. We're going to come to seated with your legs extended in front of you. Try to find your feet about mat width or shoulder width apart. Let's do a little mobility here. We're going to open the ankles, just circling the feet. Circle your feet the other direction. And we're going to bend the knees, bring the hands over the toes. Walk your heels forward as far as you can comfortably. That might mean your legs are totally straight. Might mean you're a little more bent like this if your hamstrings are tighter. Now we're going to circle the feet again. And this time start to use that circling of the feet to kind of pull you forward, release you back. Pull you forward, release you back. And so all the effort here is in the feet and lower legs. Your upper body, try to relax. Just let yourself pulse and flow with it. We use this to release tension in the upper back, neck, and shoulders. Let's take a few deep breaths. Let your upper back, neck, and shoulders open up, flow, bounce, release. Circle your feet the other direction. Again, all the efforts in the lower legs and feet. Upper body's relaxed. Yeah, it'll turn into a stretch. Bring your feet together. And just relax into a forward fold. Bring your hands wherever they need to go to get a good stretch. So that might be behind your calves, might be around your toes, might be even way up here. It's wherever you need to be to get a good stretch without pushing yourself too hard. I think of flexibility as a very long-term game. We don't want to injure ourselves for any short-term gains. Really take our time with flexibility. Just kind of hovering on that edge where there's a sense of stretch. Breathe deep into the body. Let the body slowly open up over time. The main benefit of flexibility comes right away, though. The main benefit of stretching, that is. And that benefit isn't flexibility, it's relaxation. So actually use the stretch to help coax our muscles to be more relaxed. This improves the flow of blood and energy through the body. Improves the overall sense of well-being, decreasing stress. We'll use a couple more deep breaths here, using the breath to release stress. Release. Very good. We're going to do a little core on our back now. Get yourself laying down. This first one is kind of interesting. Our sacrum is going to be the fulcrum of the movement. So we're going to take our hands and make a diamond like this, touching the first finger and the thumbs. We're going to place that diamond under the sacrum. So you lift your hips up, place your tailbone and sacrum inside that diamond. And this is going to kind of be the fulcrum for the movement. So most of our weight's going to be compressing into here. We're going to lift our head and look towards our feet. We're going to lift our feet maybe a foot or less off the ground. We're going to open the legs and cross one foot over the other. Open the legs, cross the other foot over top. We open, cross, open, cross. We do a little pulse. Inhale as we open, blow out the mouth as you cross. A really good one for strengthening the hip flexors and the psoas. Some really good dynamic core strength here.
This cross-lateral strength as well. We'll do for 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. You can keep your hands under the sacrum. We'll just do one more round of that one. But in the meantime, relax your abdomen and hips, breathing deeply. So in yoga, we call this Agni, or fire. The burn we create in the body that is both painful and invigorating. And the more we turn on this side of ourselves, the more willpower we have in every area of our life to push through the burn, to activate the inner fire. Let's do one more round like this. Lift the head, look at the feet, lift your feet. Open the legs, cross, inhale, exhale. Try to stay strong and straight in your legs. You're not getting flimsy. For 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. You can let your hands out from under the body. Move your wrists, move your ankles, take a couple breaths. Very nice. That's a great one for some of these smaller muscles, the hip flexors, psoas, some of these guys can sometimes be harder to reach with certain exercises. This next one, going to hit more of the big muscles, going to hit the obliques and the abdomen. This is sort of the bicycle movement. So we're going to bring the hands behind the head. There's some good science showing that this one is one of the top abdominal exercises for the amount that it, per minute of doing this, activates the abdominal muscles. So it's a very quick way to get strong in the abdomen. So what we're going to do, very simple, bring your left elbow towards the outside of your right knee, and then bring the right elbow towards the outside of the left knee. You just go back and forth, and the other leg is extending forward, but staying off the ground, if you can. We bring that elbow as close as we can to touching the outside of the knee. If you can't touch the outside of the knee, you just kind of move in that direction, just as close as you can. But if you can get there, go for it. Take an exhale, blowing out the mouth each time you bring that elbow towards the knee. Inhaling through the center. Good job. 2 more each side. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. A couple breaths. Feel that burn in the belly. Breathe into it. Let that fire smolder down. Again, that's an exercise very high on the charts for how much it activates the abdomen. So it's a very efficient exercise if you want to get abs. Also just very efficient at strengthening the core because you're doing these cross-lateral things, activating the obliques and the abdominal muscles. So a nice all-around strengthener here. Let's do one more round of that one. Fingers crossed behind the head. Elbow to the outside of the knee. Keep extending the other leg forward away from you, keeping it maybe about a foot off the ground. Remember to breathe. And if you can, reach, try to touch the outside of the knee with that elbow. Building that agni, building that fire, building that willpower, burning up toxins, burning up weakness. Get strong. For 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. Breathe to your belly. Let that fire simmer down, pouring water on it. Very nice. Good. Just one more core exercise left. This one also a cross-lateral pattern. Very similar. We're just going to do it with the arms and legs extended. So what was the elbow and knee will now be the hand and the foot. So bring your hands up over your head. Extend your feet out in front of you. We're going to lift the right leg, right foot, and the left hand. And you're going to lift your chest, and you're going to try to touch the outside of the left foot. Depending how flexible you are, you may or may not be able to reach. Might be just the outside of the shin. Then we switch. Right hand outside of left foot. Left hand outside of right foot. And you try to keep the feet from touching the floor. Keep the hands from touching the floor. Good job. Not too many of these. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Might hug the knees and the chest. Roll it out a little bit. So because we have that longer range of motion, each repetition, quite a bit more effort than the elbows and knees. We'll do one more round. Legs out in front of you. Arms stretch overhead. Lift the foot, lift the opposite hand. You can inhale as you transition. Exhale as you come towards touching. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Good. Okay, let's roll ourselves up. Find your way somehow to a hands and knees position. We're going to send the left foot back and bring your right foot forward near your hands. So we'll end with a little bit of stretching. This one doing a bit of a lunge. So the top of your left foot is against the ground. You can bring your hands up to your thigh or leave them on the ground. You can kind of play with this one. But what we're going to do is think about our hips dropping forward as our chest lifts slightly up. So that might be kind of down here for you. Might be more up here. Either way, just take a few deep breaths down to this left hip flexor, which we're going to open up here. So as we were stretching or strengthening this before, now we kind of open it up a little bit. So we get strong, but not tight. So just a few deep breaths here. Breathing down to the hips. Just one more deep breath here. Good, and let's switch. Switch the legs, right foot back, left foot forward. Again, feel free to play with your hands. It could be on the floor as we sink into this stretch, or if you feel like you get a better stretch up here, that's fine too. Think about, again, the hips tilting back, like the tailbone tucks under, hips tilt back like you're trying to pour water backwards out of your pelvis. Open the front right hip flexor. Breathing deep down to the hips. Just 2 or 3 more breaths. Good, release. Very nice. Bring it to seated. One more stretch. We're going to take your right foot, cross it under your left leg. Bring that right foot by your left hip. Your left foot is going to come over the right leg. Call this one half Lord of the Fishes. Cross your elbow around the right knee. So I'm mirroring you here if you're curious. Now a little easier way, you could always straighten the left leg. Usually makes us a little more mobility here. Either way, we're going to pull the right knee across the chest. You can bring the right hand behind your back and twist to your right. And you might find a little stretch on the outer right hip here by pulling that knee across the chest. You can also look for a little twist in the spine. Just about 3 deep breaths here.
Good. Slowly release. Switching sides. Your right foot comes by the left hip. Left foot comes over the right leg. Wrap around the left knee with your right arm. Use your right arm to pull the left knee across your chest. Pulling it over this way to open up maybe a little stretch on the outer left hip. Feel free to leave both your hands here to just pull on that leg as you twist, or left hand behind the back can help that lifting upwards of the spine and twisting. Again, just a few deep breaths. Good. Slowly release. Very nice. We're going to find our way down into a little relaxation posture. So roll onto your back. However you find is comfortable. You might like to throw on some socks or a blanket if you're a little chilly anywhere. We'll just be here for about 2 or 3 minutes. Just to totally relax. Breathe deep. So we go from the yang further and further into the yin portion of the practice. Just recognizing that both of these are important sides of ourself. Both of them are important to our physical and mental health and well-being. The yang of willpower and exertion and activity. And the yin of surrender and flexibility, letting go and quiet. Watching some deep breaths. Watching your belly and your ribs and your chest expand and relax in a slow, soothing, rhythmic way. Just letting yourself melt into a puddle on the floor. Each exhale, coaxing the muscles to relax and let go a little deeper. Just finding some quiet and space and presence before we go about the rest of our day or evening. Just a little comma, a little punctuation mark between activities. In the Tao, in Taoism, they say to be like water. When water is still, it perfectly reflects the sky. When water is in motion, even though it is soft and supple, it can wear away the toughest mountain, the hardest stone. They say be like water, reflective, soft, and yielding wherever you can be. Take the path of least resistance and go with the flow to have the most power. There's a couple more breaths to relax, to melt, to become soft and yielding. Harness the yin, subtle power of water. Take one big breath in. Let out a sigh.
good. Starting to move your fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Move all your joints. We'll find our way somehow up to seated. Very good. All right, well, hopefully a little stronger, a little more flexible and mobile, a little more integrated, and also a little more at ease, a little more relaxed. Hope you take that into a beautiful day or evening. My name's Nick Loffree. Thank you for practicing.